now. Just give me a second. Okay. Yes. Is my screen visible to everyone now? Okay, perfect. So let's get started. Okay, so many people here. Should we wait for a few more people to join in, or should we just get started? Maybe I can still slide through a few slides. You already know me, I'm Pusha. Um, so again, the session will be recorded and will be uploaded on YouTube. You can post your questions in the Q&A box, which I have started already. And then I have also mentioned that on the LinkedIn group, all the assignments and everything will be posted. So you should join in if you haven't already. And register for all the sessions of the bootcamp. Be an active participant, join in all the sessions, and you never know, you might win some swags and vouchers. All right, so again, I haven't updated the agenda, so please forgive me. These are our wonderful speakers. You have already met Shibu and me, and you'll meet rest of them throughout the bootcamp. This is day 2 once again. And let's get started with email marketing best practices. So as you already know, email marketing best practices actually is a very small segment of the overall exam. It only is 10% of the total exam questions, which is a small percentage if you look at it, but this is the easiest or most theoretical part of the exam. So you should be able to, actually you should be able to answer all of these correctly because it's not very difficult. And if you guys are from a marketing or digital marketing background, email marketing best practices is something you should already be familiar with, because I can see like a lot of people within our attendees at the boot camps are from the marketing background. So you might be familiar with a lot of the email marketing best practices. But as an exam overview, I will just take you through all the best practices and the areas from where you might get some questions from as well. So I guess Shibu has already covered what all email marketing best practices entails. I'm going to skip through this slide as well because there's so much content, especially in email marketing. The first thing is Marketing Cloud and Pardot. Initially, there were two different sides of marketing systems within Salesforce. Now they have clubbed it together under the Marketing Cloud umbrella. So the original Marketing Cloud is now Marketing Cloud Engagement, and Pardot has been renamed as Marketing Cloud Account Engagement. Marketing Cloud Engagement is more for B2C marketing, and Marketing Cloud Account Engagement is more for B2B marketing. When we talk about email marketing specialist certification, it's only for Marketing Cloud Engagement, not for Marketing Cloud Account Engagement. That's a separate entity. So that is why I have added this slide where we will be talking about what is Marketing Cloud Engagement and how all these different elements of Marketing Cloud Engagement fits within our exam content. So first thing is Marketing Cloud Engagement is it enables you to, as you can see on your screen, it helps you, interact with your customers in a personalized and intelligent way. You can actually integrate it with Sales and Service Cloud or any other clouds you're using. You can actually, create a cohesive 360-degree experience for your customers within Marketing Cloud Engagement. Okay, so this is a demo which I have added in the um, presentation, and we'll just have a.
Your customers are now digital first. And that's great news because now you can do more with every moment your customer has with your brand. The key is connecting these moments and making them count. That's what it takes to build real, lasting relationships, to create a trusted enterprise that customers love. But to get there, you need data. You need to unify all the data customers have entrusted with you, down to the last detail, and then put that data to use so every interaction feels more relevant, human, and personalized across commerce, digital experiences, plus sales and customer service. Salesforce Marketing Cloud puts data at the center of the relationship, and that starts with knowing your customers. Marketing Cloud combines all your data from all your siloed data sources, creating a single source of truth for every customer, giving you a three-dimensional view of who they are and what they want in the moment, even as their needs change. So now you can humanize every moment, whether it's a welcome email when they become a new customer, an ad for a product they might like, an opportunity for their business, a text resolving their shipping delay, or a special offer at checkout for being a loyal customer. And because it's powered by Einstein AI, the heavy lifting is done for you. Marketing Cloud helps you optimize your impact too, giving you actionable analytics about budget and business goals in real time. So you're always making your campaigns more personal, more valuable, more resonant. And with Slack as your digital HQ, you can adapt with agility thanks to your teams, partners, and tools being more connected and insights more accessible. Make every moment count. Build trusted customer relationships and succeed from anywhere with Salesforce.
All right, so I am hoping that this video would have been able to give you a brief overview of what Marketing Cloud engagement is and how it works in a real life context. Within Marketing Cloud engagement, there are several different products. So there is Advertising Studio, which is used for Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all these social ads. Then there is CDP, which is now renamed to Data Cloud. Then Marketing Cloud Intelligence. It actually helps you visualize AI-powered insights. Then we have Email Studio, which will be going into in detail in our upcoming sessions. Then there is Google Analytics 360. And then Marketing Cloud Personalization. It actually helps marketeers track, visualize, and manage like how people are interacting on your website. For example, I'm a customer and I've added something in my basket, but I left midway through that transaction. Then the organization or the brand I was looking at will get a notification that, okay, cart abandonment has happened with this customer. And they might actually send me emails related to that to be able to successfully convert that cart abandonment into a sale. Then there's Journey Builder, through which we actually create different journeys. So it's not like you can only use it to send emails or ads or mobile messages or SMS. You can actually create a connected experience through Journey Builder. So you can start a journey. Maybe you are running a webinar where people are entering their details and you're talking about a specific brand launch or a product line you're launching. Now, people who are interested in, say, hiking, because all the products you're launching are for hiking, will sign up for the webinar. So you already have their data. Now you can start interacting with them through a specific journey. You can build a journey for them. You can add different steps in there. So maybe you'll send them a welcome email. if they interact with a welcome email, you can send them another email, a follow-up email. If they don't interact with the email, you might send them another email just talking about or pushing them in a way that, okay, they should do this. So, or and not necessarily just an email. They might have downloaded your app, so you can send them a push notification. They might have added their phone number, so you might send them a message or a text message or a WhatsApp message on their phone. So there are like several ways with which you can connect with your customers. You might show them an ad on Facebook or Instagram or whatever your customers are more active. So you can actually create a connected journey through which you can convert your marketing efforts into sales. And last one is Mobile Studio. So Mobile Studio is for, again, as the name says, SMS, push notifications, chat app messages, etc. There used to be another product called Social Studio, which is now disbanded. Instead of Social Studio, Marketing Cloud or Salesforce actually have partnered with another third-party platform, which so you don't necessarily have to use Social Studio now on. So you'll not be studying about that. Let's move on to the next slide.
Your customers are now digital first, and that's great news.
Okay. So I've already talked about these products. Sorry, I actually was on a different page. You can see Advertising Studio, CDP, Intelligence, Email Studio, Analytics, Personalization, Journey Builder, and Mobile Studio. This is how the Marketing Cloud engagement homepage looks like. So you can see all the products on top here: Email Studio, Mobile Studio, Social. Social is actually not a part right now. That's why I mentioned that you'll not be studying about this because they have disbanded this product. And the Advertising Studio, Web Studio, Interaction, Analytics, Journey, Content, Audience, Einstein. There are several Einstein products, and we'll be covering some of them later in the section. And then you have Platform, App Exchange, and My Apps and All Apps. Then you can see Calendar, and everything which you've added here will be displayed. Now, so you have Marketing Cloud, which is a separate product, because most of you know that Marketing Cloud was originally ExactTarget, and Salesforce actually acquired the company. Sorry, Mayuri, I guess I have maximized my screen already. I don't see any option to maximize it further for some reason. Let me try to share it once again and see if it makes a difference. Okay. I guess it still looks the same. I'm really sorry for this. Okay, so yeah, so actually, so Marketing Cloud is a separate entity. You can do a lot within Marketing Cloud, but what if you need to connect your Sales and Service Cloud with Marketing Cloud? So in that case, you need to add a connector, because Marketing Cloud is not built on Salesforce platform, but all the other clouds are built on Salesforce platform. And this is one of the main reasons why Marketing Cloud interface looks very different from the original Salesforce interfaces. And there was no direct connectivity initially, and Marketing Cloud, Salesforce actually introduced Marketing Cloud Connect, which seamlessly connect all the clouds with Marketing Cloud now. So this is just just to give you an idea about, okay, what you can, how you can actually connect the different clouds, and potentially you'll learn more about this as you move forward. And for now, I'll just like cover it briefly because this is an option and you should know about it just for the exam point of view. You don't necessarily actually have to connect Marketing Cloud with Sales and Service Cloud or actually do the setup for Marketing Cloud as an email marketing specialist, because email marketing specialist is a different role. To be able to set up Marketing Cloud and to do the Marketing Cloud Connect uses and everything, you need to be an admin. So only Marketing Cloud admin is responsible for all the stuff, not the email marketing specialist. Hence, I'm not covering this on how you can actually connect it. Now, as you know, Salesforce keeps on updating their platform. Sometimes due to those changes, there might be some glitches in the system. So trust.marketingcloud.com is a website where you can see if there are any issues with the system as of now. If there are, which all systems it will be impacting. So all the information lies within trust.marketingcloud.com. And you might potentially get a question around this in your exam as well. So do read a bit about this so that you have a basic idea. Most of the time, there is one question at least about trust. Now, the most important thing in sending emails is having a good digital marketing strategy and then creating a compelling email so that people who you are sending your email to are intrigued to actually click on it, open it, browse the products inside, and so on and so forth. So to be able to do that, the first thing you need to do is you should have a marketing strategy, a digital marketing strategy. It should not only contain the emails, but also a cohesive strategy, which covers everything from social media to ads to emails and push notifications and chat messages, everything, so that you know that customers will receive a well-rounded experience. Now, so to have a good marketing strategy, you should actually, have a really strong strategy with these tips. So whenever you are drafting a strategy, if you put yourself in your customer's shoes, you will be able to understand what is happening and how you can make the best out of it. So if I'm just saying, okay, I'll do this, but I don't know how my customer will feel this, it's not going to, actually make a successful campaign. And I'll share an example for this as well. Why this is very important, because Salesforce is very good at their marketing themselves, right? But Salesforce was targeting a customer in India called Mahindra and Mahindra. So Mahindra is a very big company, and they were trying to get that account, but they were not successful in it. So what they did is, when Mahindra launched a new vehicle, some of the Salesforce executives, they themselves participated on the they themselves engaged with their website and acted as a customer, visited different showrooms, did some test drives. So what they found out was that the experience was very disconnected. The forms they filled online had no relation to the experience they got during showroom visits, or if they visited multiple showrooms of the same brand, there was no connection between them. So there were a lot of things which they knew they could update just by Salesforce CRM. So what they did was, through all these experiments, they formulated a strategy to actually, sell the product to sell Salesforce to Mahindra and Mahindra. And they actually succeeded in it as well because of all the efforts they put in. So it's very important to put yourself in your customer's shoes to be able to have a very successful digital marketing strategy. Then inventory your existing data assets and technologies. You should know like what your existing data assets are, what technologies you're using, and how you can use them in your journey. So, for example, if you're using maybe only LinkedIn, you want to know how many people are interacting on your LinkedIn page every day. You should know how that will impact your future strategies. If you're using Instagram or TikTok, you should know like how that is going to impact your strategy moving forward. Now, then you need to also focus on different use cases. So, how customers will end up buying your products, what use cases they have, why do they need your product, and so on and so forth. You also need to work on a success criteria, because it's not like you're just sending emails out, you're just running ads, but there's no clue about what is happening and what does a successful campaign looks like. So you should actually have your goals and KPIs set for it. And then lastly, create a single view of the customer. Don't set the data in different segments. Try to create a cohesive view so that you can see like what's happening where. Now, we will be starting with Email Studio, because Email Studio will be the major chunk of this exam. With Email Studio, as the name suggests, you can build and send emails to your customers. That's it. Now, the emails could be promotional, transactional, or triggered messages. Um, I will take you through what promotional and transactional emails are. Maybe we can talk about it here, because this is really important, and you should be aware of what promotional email is and transactional. So, a promotional email is when you're sending a customer, "Hey, we have a sale. This is what we're selling." Whereas a transactional email is a password reset, um, a order details, tracking details of the order, deliver status or order status emails, and so on and so forth. So you should know that the transactional emails are very different from promotional emails, because a lot of the times we talk about email designing, blah, 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 all those different things. We'll talk about subject lines and whatnot, but we'll not talk about this basic thing. Transactional emails are very different, and they actually so as we'll move forward, you'll know that there are several compliances that we need to follow, and transactional emails are mostly not covered in either of the compliances, because they are mandatory emails. So even if your customer have unsubscribed from your email newsletters, they'll still receive the transactional emails. So there's a massive difference between both of these, and we'll talk about a bit more in the upcoming slides. Now, this is how the basic Email Studio looks like. On the top, you can see email, because if you click on any specific product within engagement, you'll see that with this just next to the Salesforce logo on the right hand side, the name of the engagement product will appear. And then there are several other things which you can do with the Email Studio. That is overview. Overview has all the recent emails you have sent, templates, portfolios, lists, etc. You'll also be able to see a basic analytics on the right hand side under Send. Then there's content, all the content builder emails you have built. Then there are subscribers. It could be all subscribers or different data extensions or lists. Then there are interactions, how the customers are interacting with it. And then there are A/B testing. So always A/B test your emails before sending them out to all of your customers. This is very important, because if for example, I'm creating an email and I want to send it to 50,000 people, I should know that this is going to perform well. So you can do A/B testing with your subject line. You can do A/B testing with your email content. You can do A/B testing with the CTA, and so on and so forth. So there are so many things that you can do within A/B testing as well, and then tracking details, and then admin area for Email Studio. These are all the things within Email Studio. Now, um, a very important thing is crafting effective marketing emails, especially when we talk about Email Studio. The major part of Email Studio is to attract customers through email marketing campaigns. And in order to do that, you should be able to craft effective emails. So the best way to do this is have a very good subject line. The subject line should be short, sweet, but it should actually be attractive to the customer. It should push the customer to read the email, not just skip after the subject line. And again, as I mentioned, A/B testing, you can have five different subject lines and narrow them down to two, then test them on maybe 1,000 people or 500 people, whatever your test criterias are. But test them once you know, okay, this one works better, go with it. Then we have pre-headers. So when you open an email in Gmail, you can see that a bit of text appears next to it. Um, you all can see, okay, so I actually opened a page on my screen. I thought I'll share it with you, but maybe pre-headers is something which I think all of you should already know about. So it's the text that appears just next to the subject line, and these should be short again, but catchy, because if your subject line is very attractive, the next thing I'll do before opening the email is just quickly going through the pre-header, and I'll know, like, okay, what's inside the email. It's not the content of the email, it's just the summary of the content of email. And then we have, okay, now once the main part is done and you succeeded in opening the email, or you succeeded in pushing your customer to open the email, the next thing is to actually make the inside of the email or the content of the email interesting for them. So for this, a personalization is very important. If you're just sending email saying, hi, we're doing this is this, versus when you're saying, hi, Katie, I'm doing this is this, there will be a difference between how these two will be received. Now, when you're actually writing that person's name or you're talking about them specifically, they feel a special touch. They feel that you know them. You're talking to them directly, not just to a blank screen saying hi. So personalization is very important, and Einstein actually helps you generate dynamic content depending on your customers, which is a very good tool when you're personalizing the email, because anyone can personalize by adding names. But when you show the products specific to that person or to their interests, you will have a better chance of converting that into a sale, rather than when you send everyone a fixed set of products. So if the email I'm receiving has dynamic content exactly relevant to me, I'll be more interested in buying those products. But if, for example, if I'm not getting content relevant to me, maybe Amazon is sending me an email to, uh, and they're showing me maybe wrinkle cream, they're not relevant to me. I'm probably not going to buy it. But if they're showing me sunscreens for, or maybe, something like that. So you do understand there's a difference between what I'm going to buy and what not, depending on my age, my preferences, my existing purchase data. So based on all these things, we can actually personalize a lot of content using Einstein, and it is very important. sorry, this is what I was talking about, dynamic content. So to personalize email, you use a lot of different techniques, and one of those is dynamic content. With dynamic content, you can display different values based on subscribers record. That's what it says. So if somebody's interested in cycling, you can display gears related to cycling. But if somebody's interested in weightlifting, you can show them products for weightlifting. Now, this is very important. Okay, you have a very good subject line, you have a very good pre-header. Your customer is actually looking at your email, or your potential customer is actually looking at your email. Now, you also have added some good products in there, but just to push them around that edge to be actually able to click on those products, sometimes you need to have a very creative CTA. So call to action is something which pushes your customers to actually click on the email and go to your website and browse your products. CTAs are generally very brief, so it could be buy now, it could be hurry up, sale is you're running out of time, or something like that. So it should be, very specific to your target audience. It should be very clear, and it should actually create a sense of urgency so that your customers are interested in buying those products. I have added a link in here because I feel the email trail doesn't have the marketing content creation module in there. So if it's not in there, you should actually go through this. If it's already there, please forgive me. If not, you should go through this. That's why I've added this here. So since the slides will be shared with everyone, you'll be able to go through the link. You don't necessarily have to copy paste it right now because I'm not posting it in the comment section. Now the next bit is responsive email templates. Shibu touched upon this topic briefly yesterday. So for that, when you're sending emails to anyone, you don't necessarily know whether they're going to open it on a desktop or a mobile or an iPad. So your email design, whichever you're selecting, should have a responsive template. By this, I mean is even if you design the email for a desktop, it should have a very good view for mobile customers as well. And you should be aware of the fact that not everyone is going to use or open the emails on the same platform. They might use different operating systems. They might use different screen sizes, and they might use different providers as well. So a lot of times you also have to be very careful about the ISP providers as well. So all of these things should be taken into account when you are building an email. And sometimes, or a lot of the times, your customers might not be aware of these. And so you will be the one who needs to share this information with your customers. So hence, it is very important for you to understand what these things are, why they matter. Okay. Now, email deliverability. So with previous slides, you should be able to create a compelling email, but you also need to think about how the email will be delivered. So there are a few terms which you should be aware of, or most of you might be aware of. ISPs. So ISPs are your internet providers as well as your email service providers, that is Gmail, Yahoo, etc. Then there's internet protocol address, that is IP address. So every computer has an IP address. And then there are shared and dedicated IPs. So shared and dedicated IPs are more for the marketing cloud contacts. And why am I talking about this is when you start sending emails, a specific ID or IP is actually attached to it. Now you can use two different types of IDs. It could be shared or dedicated. We'll talk about more about both of these and when you can use shared IPs, and when you should use dedicated IPs. You actually will definitely get a question around this. Most of the people actually get, so that's why I'm saying. So this is a very important topic. You might get a question around when to use shared IP versus dedicated IP based on a scenario. So we'll cover this topic in our upcoming slides. Then there are domains and subdomains. So domains, for example, salesforce.com is a domain, whereas help.salesforce.com is a subdomain. So our domain is the original website we'll display to the customers with all of our products and everything. And then the subdomains will be used for sending emails to actually maintain the credibility of the original domain. So a lot of the times you might see emails coming in from help dash-dash-dash.com or help.amazon.com, something like that. So you can actually add a subdomain to um, protect the trust for your original domain name. Then there are private domains, and then domain name system. DNS, I guess a lot of people know these terms already, so I don't need to go through each of these because we actually have very limited time. Email authentication and SAP. You will actually learn these terms in the upcoming sessions as well. So I'm skipping a few here since we are short on time. That email deliverability. So email deliverability is very important because even though you can design a perfect email, if your emails are not getting delivered to your customers' inboxes, no point of sending it, right? So you need to make sure that the email lands up in the inbox, not the spam box. You also need to make sure whatever email address you have is the correct one, because if it's not correct, the email might bounce. And a bounce rate above 20% for a single email can have a serious consequence. So you should actually keep on updating your data based on your bounced emails from previous send. So for example, you have sent an email to 50,000 people today, and 500 of those emails have bounced. So they were not delivered to the customers' email boxes. Now, what you should do is you should actually remove those inactive addresses or old addresses from your mailing list before you send another email to your customers. And why this is important? This is important because if you don't remove them now, you will be, the bounce rate for the next email send will go up. And if it will go up, then you're going to have issues, because if it goes above 20%, then you will not be able to, have trust, credibility for your emails. The majority of your emails will be sent directly to spam. And there are a lot of consequences connected with this as well. Sorry, please forgive me. I need to drink some water. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the next point of email deliverability is managing email frequency. So when your customers sign up for emails, if you have promised a monthly newsletter, make sure you are sending it monthly, not weekly, not bi-monthly. So you need to make sure the email frequency of your emails is what you're promised, and also what is the most effective email frequency for you as well. Now, the next one is spam filters. Most of the ISPs actually use a lot of different filters. So make sure that your whatever coding or options you're using or content you're using it should actually not end up being in the spam boxes because of the keywords you're using, because majority of the ISPs actually filter these through different keywords, and you should be aware of all of them. Now, to actually figure out the email frequency, we also have an Einstein product, that is Einstein engagement frequency. With this, actually, using your previous send data, you can identify the optimum number of email messages which you need to send to your customers and at what time. I'll also show you an example of this later in our slides. Then we have IP warming. IP warming is a very important part of email deliverability. So even if you have covered everything from bounce issues to spam filters to perfect email engagement times or whatever, you also need to be very careful of this, especially when you are just starting to send emails. So for every new IP, you need to build a reputation. Um, Now, here is something which you need to know. When do you need a private IP versus shared IP? So shared IPs are when you're sharing an IP address with some other companies as well, because you don't need to send more than 100K messages or emails per month. You obviously don't need a private IP. So if you're sending emails less than 100K per month, you don't need a private IP. If it's less than 100K, you will be using a shared IP. With shared IP, sometimes what happens is, for example, three different companies are using one shared IP. Now, two of them has very good reputations. They're doing everything to the books for their customers. But the third customer is actually not taking care of all these email best practices. So what will end up happening is their reputation will also impact your email sends. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of the companies move away from a shared IP to a private IP, just to avoid the deliverability issues because of the other sender's reputation. The another reason is if you're sending emails to more people per month, you will prefer to have your own IP, because otherwise you might have difficulty establishing your, you know, just working it out. But if you're sending less than 100K, private IPs are not for you, because you'll not be able to establish your IP reputation with the other ISPs. Um, when you start working on the IP warming, there are two charts at the bottom, and we will come back to these two charts just after this. So, when you start working on a private IP, the first thing is you need to warm the IP address slowly, as the name suggests. You can't start sending 100,000 emails per day from day one. So the best practice is from day 1 to 3, you'll keep on sending 5,000 emails per day for ISPs or Gmails. For any other ISPs, you can send it 20,000 emails from day 1 to 3. Again, for day 4 to 5, it's 10K or 20K, 6 to 7, again, 20 to 20, and so on and so forth. So once you've completed first 30 days, you can continue to double the volume every week until you have reached your complete audience in a single send. Within the first 7 days, and you might get a question around this as well. So these figures are really important. Make sure you actually, remember this content, because generally you get a question around this as well. So from day 1 to 7, you can send about 50,000 emails. And that is the standard practice for Gmail, not for others, for Gmail. After 30 days, you can keep on doubling the volume from week to week. So no issues there. Make sure you go through this table once before your exam. It is very important, and it'll help you through the question if it comes. Now, this chart is actually to show you if you start. So, if you look at the first chart, the insufficient warming causes rep issues. The first chart actually shows that there's a pink line which has a big spike and then a very steep decline. With a green chart, you can see the send volume. So they started sending emails. They sent hundreds of thousands of email from the get-go, and their sending reputation fell quickly. Whereas if you start sending emails slowly and steadily, you'll be able to build your sending reputation as your send volume goes up. So you should actually use this method to, start warming your IP when you have recently started using a new IP address. Now, everything is done. You were able to draft a good email. You were able to get it delivered to your target audience's inbox as well. What's next? The next thing is how you should grow and engage your audience. A lot of the times, people just take shortcut routes by buying lists. When you purchase list, it's just very difficult for you to have a very good reputation because majority of the people have not signed up for your newsletters. Majority of the people might not even be interested in your newsletters, or a lot of the data you are using is outdated. So I might be using an email 10 years ago and I'm not using it right now. It's not going to do any good to any marketer to send me an email on my old email address, right? So here, the two important things are growing your audience and keep engaging with them. And this is one of the areas where you might get a question as well. The best practice about how versus how, like what should be the ideal way to get more people sign up for your newsletters versus buying a list or something like that. So I'm actually just sharing ideas. I'm not saying that you will get a question. I'm just saying that these are the areas where you might get questions. So don't, if you don't see any questions about what I'm talking about, don't come back to me saying, hey, you mentioned that I'll get a question on IP warming. This is a topic, and I've heard this from people so many times, and I myself have actually seen this, that you get questions around these areas. So I'm just telling you that you might get questions around these areas. Don't come back to me saying, hey, you said I'll get a question on this, but my questions were very different. You might get a different question. I wrote the exam a year and a half ago. So don't blame me if the questions are changed. But mostly like this is how it happens. You should know what good practices are. That's why you get a question around this area. So to grow your audience, you can do website signups, you can do mobile app signups if you have a mobile app, obviously. Single opt-in versus double opt-in. This is a very good topic because when you just ask them to opt in once, they might just click on it because they're in a hurry to sign up. But if you add double opt-in, you can be sure that they are actually interested in getting your newsletters, because you don't want to send emails to people who are not interested in receiving it, because that might impact your unsubscribe rate, that might impact your email deliverability as well. So social media and paid ads. Social media and paid ads can definitely help you grow your audience. In-store promotions, you can run a promotion, you can ask people to sign up, and then cold sales emails or customer service calls can also help you engage and grow your audience. Now, on the other hand side, once you have built a very good base of your customers, you might want to engage with them every so often. So how you can engage with them in a way where they will be interested in interacting with your emails and buying your products. First off, what you can do is offer really good incentives. If you're offering a good discount or a coupon, maybe 500 off on 1,000, something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas here. Your marketing team would be a better judge on what kind of incentive they want to offer. But these actually can help you get a better engagement with your customers. The next thing is you need to make a very good first impression. So if your first impressions are good and they can see that you're not spamming them, you'll most likely be a part of their inbox for a very long time. And then the second last one is set up a welcome series. But as soon as they sign up, either through website or your mobile app, you can actually just send them a welcome email. Then, if they click on it, you can send them a follow up email. If they don't click on it, you can send them a different kind of email. That's what I explained in the journey builder thing as well. So, you can actually create a welcome series or welcome journey for them, about including different touch points, not necessarily emails, and make sure that they're engaging with it. Based on the engagements you'll receive, you can, you know, um, add a different end outcome. And lastly, personalize your emails. Personalizing the emails is really important, and it's going to help you significantly when you're sending emails to your customers. Now, this was all about the how to, get your audience to actually interact with the emails. Now, a very important part of it is legal compliance guidelines. So, there are two major laws which you need to be aware of. CAN-SPAM, that is Controlling the Assault of Non-Solicited Pornography in Marketing Act of 2003. This is the law for mostly US based clients, but since, as Shibu mentioned, Salesforce is also based in US, so Marketing Cloud is built with CAN spam in mind. So all the CAN spam things will by default be included in Marketing Cloud systems. Uh, Now, the next one is GDPR. GDPR is more for European region. So EU passed a law to have a more safe and secured environment for the people who are signing up for all these newsletters. Hence, we have GDPR. Now, there might be several local compliances or laws as well, which you can be aware of. So, depending on the country you are running the campaign for, you should actually take those into account as well. You might not get too much information on those on Trailhead. Those will not come in your exam either. But when you start sending out emails, it's very important to know the laws of your country around sending emails to your customers or to any list of people you have. So we'll talk about CAN spam in detail. We'll briefly touch upon GDPR as well. Now, CAN spam. CAN spam is an act for commercial emails only. Transactional emails are not covered in these requirements. That is a very first thing you should know. I already talked to you about what transactional and commercial emails are. Um, so these requirements, again, the GDPR requirements are also for commercial emails, not for transactional. According to CAN-SPAM, you need to accurately identify the sender in the header information. So you should be able to know who the sender is. You should use a subject line that accurately represents the content of the email. So if it's a sales email, you should actually use something within the subject line that represents that, okay, this is the email, not something else. So if I'm sending them an email about a new line I've launched, the subject line should actually represent that instead of saying, hi, I'm your friend, talk to me. So something like that. So the subject line should represent the content of the email. You should be able to identify the message as an ad unless you have consent from the subscriber. So if the subscriber has opted in, you can send the email without actually identifying the message as an ad. But if you're sending the emails to a list, you need to send them as an ad, not as a normal email. Now, include your physical mailing address. At the bottom of the email, you need to add your physical mailing address where people can send written mails to you. You should also provide a mechanism to opt out. Every email, as you can see, if you open any promotional email, you can see that you have an unsubscribe button at the bottom or at the top sometimes, depending on different brands or companies. And all the opt out requests should be processed within 10 days. So once I have clicked on unsubscribe, within 10 days, they need to stop sending me commercial emails. And the unsubscribe mechanism I have added in the email should be operational for 30 days after the mailing address. So, for example, I might have added an unsubscribe link to an email, and now that it's been 30 days, I can actually change the email, the URL, but not before 30 days if I want to change that. Now, GDPR has some different requirements. I'll just touch upon these briefly. So, basis of data processing. You need to actually be lawful when you process the customer's data. You cannot use them inappropriately. Compliance obligations. There are several obligations, like how you can use it. Breach notifications. So, a lot of the time, some hacker might actually hack your data, and they now have access to all the customers information. So everyone, all companies need to inform breach notifications within 72 hours to the authorities, and also they need to send an email to their customers talking about this. Then there are, within the organization, you need to have a data protection officer to ensure that the organization complies with the privacy law. Then there are user processors. You should have a written agreement. And then profiling. It's just tracking data subjects and their economic situations and everything. So you need to be very careful about what you're doing with the data. And lastly, the data subjects right. This was one of the very important steps for GDPR. So data subjects are the people who are subscribing or opting in to your marketing emails. They can request any time that the company who holds the data should be able to, tell them what is happening with their data, and they can request them to correct or update the data. They can request them to delete the data. They can also, you know, revoke the consent, and they can ask them like where they're storing the data and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of rights related to data subjects. That is your customers who have signed up for your emails. These are mostly the requirements. Now, once all this is done, let's talk about send classifications. You'll learn more about these in the upcoming sessions as well, but I'll just briefly touch upon the topic. So send classification is it basically includes three components. Okay, so one thing is you'll get at least a question around legal compliance guidelines. It could be CAN-SPAM or GDPR. Totally, I'm not sure, but you'll get a question on that. You'll also definitely get a question on send classification. So do read these topics very carefully. So delivery profile again is a header with a as I've already added here. So sender profile is easy. It's like from an email address. So who's sending the email and the email address. Then CAN-SPAM classification. For every send classification, you also need to add commercial or transactional classifications. You need to mention whether the email is a commercial email or transactional. And then the last one is delivery profile. Delivery profile is actually a very different thing. So it's mostly related to CAN-SPAM regulation, I would say. It is a header with a link to view your email message as a web page. So sometimes you can see that you can also see email message as a web page. It is because of delivery profile. Then there's a footer with the physical emailing address, and then there is an unsubscribe link as well in the footer. So All these three things are a part of delivery profile, which you'll set up before you start sending out emails. So you'll create send classifications, different send classifications for different email sends depending on your company's or country's guidelines. But you'll be creating sender profile, delivery profile, and can spam for the send classification. Now, as I mentioned, there are several Einstein products which actually are part of Marketing Cloud now. We have messaging insights. So, as the name suggests, you can see how many messages are sent, at what time, what was the unsubscribe rate, change, influence, blah, blah, blah. This will actually help you improve your messages overall. Then we have Einstein engagement scoring. It actually talks about email engagement. So it'll also help you predicting how much engagement you might receive with different types of subscribers. It'll also talk about subscriber retention predictions, web conversion predictions, email click predictions, and email open predictions. So there are several ways through which you can improve your email using Einstein engagement scoring. And then there is Einstein Send Time optimization. Actually, this is for the engagement frequency, the one we talked about earlier. So engagement frequency has two different areas. One is send time optimization, another one is engagement frequency. So send time optimization actually talks about what time your customers are most likely to engage with your message, what day they will be most likely to engage. And then engagement frequency is how you should send the email, how frequently you should send the email so that they will engage with it in a best possible way. And there are more tools added into this umbrella. Now there are several tools regarding Einstein GPT, but those will not be a part of your exam, I guess, up until now. But since they were a part of Winter 24, I'll still recommend you to just touch upon those briefly because they're a very new addition. I don't have any images for those as of now, but Cameron Robert actually has shared a YouTube video. Let me share the video's link with you. Just give me a second. So he actually has shared a very beautiful video explaining what the topic is and how you can use those. There are a few different ways with which you can create content, the email subject line. You can also create brand personalities, which will be helpful to you eventually when you are actually, creating email subjects and copy lines. So I've already pinned the video, the YouTube video, which you can watch for the Einstein GPT features. And that's it. These are the assignments. I want you to go through the exam trail, cover everything from the beginning until Einstein Send Time and Frequency Optimization. Also read the email anthology book. This will help you learn the best practices. Go through the can spam guidelines because majority of the time the questions will come for can spam only. Even in marketing associate exam, they only have questions around can spam, not for GDPR or other compliances. So can spam is very important. Now, also check the email deliverability best practices link. So all these links I'll be sharing in the LinkedIn group, as well as you can access them through the PDF on the event page. Any questions? So let's just do Q&A now. We got a few questions. Okay. First question. Okay. So Navya Shri Hemchandra, can we build a journey, the customer engagement on any webinar? We can refer as dynamic engagements, registrations, attended, etc. Yes, you can actually create customer like journeys for any webinars. You can not just webinars, you can actually create customer journeys for any signups you do through physical conferences or anything like that. So there are so many ways with which you can build customer journeys. You can build journeys for different events. You can build journeys for different promotions you're running. You can have multiple journeys running at the same time as well. My understanding with okay, Mridula, my understanding with can spam is it is only applicable for commercial, not transactional. Why do we need to classify commercial and transactional in send classification? What is expected as per can spam if we add can spam as transactional? So the reason behind that is we need to have a send classification for each and every email. For all the transactional emails, we also need to have a send classification, not just for commercial. Hence, we need to specify the send classification we are creating is for commercial or for transactionals. So that is why we need to add this in the send classification. Also, can you tell something about triggered messages? And do they have some rules too? Um, Triggered messages generally don't have too many rules, and you don't need to cover majority of this in for this exam either. So yeah, it'll just be a brief topic for you at this point of time, especially for email marketing specialist certification. Prasad, can we get org access to practice? Org access, I'm still figuring that out. As I mentioned, within this week, probably in the next couple of days, I'll be able to either get a yes or a no answer from them. And if they do agree to share access with everyone, they want everyone to sign a contract so that there's no misuse around the org access, because if you have the marketing cloud email org access, it might actually end up being a problem for them. So hence there's a resistance, and I guess she would explain that to you as well. I'm trying my best in terms of getting an access, but yeah, that's all I have for now. Email overview tab is kind of dashboard in Salesforce. Can we configure it according to our need? So email overview tab, you can actually do few changes, but the overall dashboard will remain as it is. You can't actually customize the user interface of Marketing Cloud too much. As I mentioned before, Salesforce is built on Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, everything is built on Salesforce platform, hence the ability to customize everything, not something similar with email marketing or Marketing Cloud. What can we do when we have not configured SAP? As we need to configure the SAP when we are sending the mail greater than 50,000 and our spam and bounce rate is increasing. Well, I would prefer to actually configure SAP, because without SAP, you will run into these issues, and there is no other way to actually overcome these problems. Hence, Salesforce offers you SAP. If you have any issues using SAP, you can reach out to Salesforce, but my recommendation is to actually use SAP before you start sending out emails to your customers, even if it's less than 50K. Okay. Does the frequency quantity of email sent over 30 days period for IP warming is determined by which service provider use? It does actually, and it also matters. So, for example, if majority of the emails you are sending to your customers are for Gmails, because when customers sign up for emails, you can see their email addresses, right? So you can see if majority of the customers are using Gmail. So for Gmail, there are specific guidelines because Google has some different kind of restrictions. For all others, you can pool them together in a specific bucket. Um, so yes, IP warming is determined by which service provider you're using. Um, then when we add subject line where email looks immediate action is required, Um, it feels like it looks fake, spam email. What's your thought on that? See, this is when your marketing team will help you. As an email studio specialist, you just need to be aware of what these guidelines are. You don't necessarily have to write subject lines most of the time. Your marketing team will provide you with subject line and the basic content you will be writing within the email. So I don't think you are going to work on this too much. But if it looks fake, that's where you have A/B testing. So you can actually have two different types of subject lines or five different types of subject lines. You can test it with your subset of your subscribers and see which one works best for you. Now, is it possible to track customer journey, click event, or navigation if she is clicking the URL through email jumping onto the website? You can actually see if they clicked on the email, not necessarily, okay, they clicked on the email, now they're browsing this on the website, because even though they started browsing internet with, say, hiking gear, they might end up browsing running clothes. Who knows? But you can track such journeys through Hotjar or Microsoft Clarity or other tools, but there's no direct way to actually track everything in Marketing Cloud. There's also personalization and Interaction Studio, which will help you. Sorry, Interaction Studio will help you with some part of it, not all. So there are ways with which you can track this journey, but not everything is out of the box. Shall we have access to the recordings of all sessions of this bootcamp? Yes, the first recording is already up on YouTube. I'll be posting this one later today as well. All the sessions will be recorded, so you don't need to worry. And I'll be posting all of them on our LinkedIn page for World Marketeers and on the LinkedIn group I have created as well. Will you be providing any certification of the bootcamp sessions? I actually was thinking about doing that. So we'll probably be circulating a sheet to sign up for, specifically for people who are doing all the sessions. So we can actually see that, okay, this person has completed all the sessions. So you will be able to get a certification. What is the process of registering the IP address? Thus, this topic comes under MC Admin. Yes, the IP address registration process will come under MC Admin. As I mentioned, majority of these admin tasks come under admin certification. Email Studio is mostly for, Email Specialist certification covers mostly Email Studio, basics of Journey Builder, Content Builder, and audience builder. That's it. What is the process of, in the Email Studio, do we see reports of emails sent only through Email Studio or also through Journey Builder? You'll see all the email reports in Email Studio. Can we check an email attachment as viewed or downloaded? I think you can. I guess there are different metrics available. I'm not very sure about this one. I can get back to you on this one though. Can you drop me a message on LinkedIn and then I will be able to answer you there. Okay, no more questions. So once again, thank you so much everyone for joining in, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next session. It's going to be really interesting and you'll be able to learn a lot more through real life use cases and demos as well as we move forward, because there are going to be so many interesting topics, especially Journey Builder and Automation Studio are my favorites. So make sure you attend all the sessions, and thank you so much for joining today. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.